Hey, navigating the symptoms and recovery of COVID has become a frightening reality for so many of us. But imagine being a parent with a newborn too young for the vaccine becoming infected with the virus.
For the past 6 days, new mum Ann Chun has cared for her 7-month-old baby Rupi after he tested positive to coronavirus.
Gee.
Yeah, pretty frightening stuff. And she joins us live from Sydney. And this must have been a really difficult time for you these past few days. What were Rupi's symptoms and how is he doing now, importantly?
So thanks for asking. Rupi's symptoms comes in waves. So in the beginning it was the fever, and that's what prompted us to go to the hospital and get him tested. And then later on we dealt with symptoms of not feeding, and that caused him dehydration. We're now in the third wave of symptoms, which is the vomiting and diarrhea, which is then again prompt us to be cautious of his dehydration. So that's roughly where we're now.
And this is my worst nightmare. I have a 5-month-old son and I've got twins going on nearly 3 years old, too young to be vaccinated. Yeah. This is my worst nightmare. We worry about this every single minute of every single day. Take us through the shock that you got when you learned your little boy had COVID.
Yeah, I'm completely on the same boat with you. Since he was born, we've been worried that he'll catch COVID. We don't even go out for grocery shoppings. Everything is either online delivered or my husband do click and collect. We were super guilty when we first found out that he was COVID positive, and then quickly escalated to stress because we don't know how to find the right care for him, being at home, and we're not supposed to go to the hospital just because he's not classified as a severe case. And then we went on, and then the last 6 days was just a lot of anxiety. Like, we've been monitoring his symptoms. When do we go to the hospital? Is this it? Can we do another hour to maybe we try this and see whether he'll be fine at home? It's just a huge amount of stress, anxiety that packed on. I don't think my husband and I have ever been so stressed in our lives.
Well, that's the thing, right? And as new parents, it can be even more difficult. You know, your anxiety levels are up already trying to care for your brand new baby, and then COVID comes along. No doubt your tensions would have been heightened already. But when it came to getting, I guess, advice to look after Rupi, what were you told by the healthcare system?
So we were just given an info sheet about caring for COVID children at home. It's not tailored to babies at all. There is a care home hotline, which my husband and I have tried ringing, but it just rang out. We were told we're 6 in line a number of times and it just disconnects us, so we never got through. Thankfully, my GP really stepped up the game. He basically dropped everything as soon as he found out, my baby was COVID positive, and step us through what we needed to do. He even gave us a crash course on distress breathing, just so that we know how to care for him at home and when to go to the hospital and what are the signs to watch out for.
So sorry, Anne, you said that the hospital said to you, don't bring him in here. Is that what you're telling me?
The hospital didn't say that specifically, but the hospital said come back if he deteriorates or worsen. But how do you know, as a general public, what it means by deteriorate or worsen? Yeah. It's a very broad definition. When he's not feeding his normal feed, to me that's worsen, but that's not necessarily when the medical staff means deteriorate or worsen. So it's very hard to judge.
And this is a newborn who can't tell you what's wrong.
You're trying to really navigate it, yourself, trying to work it out.
Yeah, exactly. He can't tell you what's going on. And most of the times he's just either very lethargic because he's fighting the virus, or he's very upset because he's uncomfortable, and you just don't know whether they're not feeding because they have a sore throat, they have a tummy ache, they just lost their appetite. You just don't know what is going on, and you can just go by what it is that you're dealing with. Comparing to normal day-to-day, it's very hard.
And fortunately, I guess, Anne, for you and your husband both tested negative. I mean, that's a positive here, in one way of looking at it. But I guess for poor, beautiful Rupi, he looks like he's doing okay there. How is he doing now?
He's doing okay. We tested negative, but we actually both have symptoms in the last 24 hours that came on, so have it as well. He's doing a bit better today. He did wake up quite happy. He just woke up 20 minutes ago, so he's quite happy.
Yeah.
But we just don't know how the day goes, because typically he wakes up quite okay in the morning because he had a good, few hours of sleep, and then it deteriorates throughout the day, and the symptoms come on throughout the day rather than first thing in the morning. So it's really hard to know what would your day bring to you.
And just again, Anne, you don't know how he got it, is that right?
We don't know how he got it. We're super careful with everything. We had a few gatherings with families and very close friends over Christmas and New Year's, but we had everyone do a rapid antigen test before meeting up. So that's the level of care that we took to make sure he doesn't catch it, but he still caught it. And he obviously caught it before us.
Wow.
Just talks to the transmissibility, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Hey, Anne, thank you so much. We really hope for a speedy recovery for Rupee as well.
Yeah, and well done. And yeah, all the very, very best. My heart goes out to you, it really does. And what gets me so angry is they called the hotline.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't get on.
Kept being put on hold.
That's just not good enough.
No, it's not.
A parent at their wits' end with a sick child, that's just not what you do not want.
Well, and also, you don't want them to infect others as well, right?
Exactly
you
right.
don't know anything about this yet. It's awful.
It's got to be sorted.